Welcome to the Green Tea, Freedom and Truth channel. This is Tristan. It's good to have the Green Tea team back for this edition of the video log. A big thank you and much appreciation for everyone who has liked, shared, commented and subscribed to the channel. Today's topic is we're talking about the zombie juice vax that is being rolled out, the experimental, unnatural, under-tested big pharma vax which is being pushed on the world population, and the way that they are trying to say that it is not mandatory, but there is pressures and drivers in place that almost make it mandatory by default. The push for vaccine passports, the push to not be able to travel and do certain things by not, if you say no is your human right and your right predicted in the Bill of Rights to refuse a medical treatment not to, you may be discriminated or pressured to feel that in some way that you will be missing out and not having the same human rights if you choose to say no to this. Many citizens have been worried about whether the untested vaccines will be mandatory, since it has already been proposed in several countries. In Sweden, however, it has not been, because the law which prohibits involuntary medical interventions. But despite this law, governments could exert such strong pressure that on their populations that it could become almost impossible to live without being exposed to this experimental jab. And let's just find out a little bit about what the Council of Europe is. The Council of Europe is an intergovernmental European cooperation organization with 47 member states, which, despite its name and the same flag, is separate from the EU. This resolution is not legally binding, but recommendations to member states are almost always complied with. And thank the blessed Lord for the Council of Europe. Thank you for anyone standing up and stating these human right facts. Council of Europe: no compulsory vaccinations and no discrimination against the unvaccinated. On 27th January, the Council of Europe signed Resolution 2361, which states that vaccinations in EU member states should not be mandatory. Furthermore, persons who have not been vaccinated may not be discriminated against in any way. This effectively stops the notion of vaccine passports. And this is some great news, that it is illegal in a court of law to discriminate against anyone who says no to this zombie juice vax. Traveling freely as we have been used to, we can open our borders now. We can end these mandatory detention, quarantine camps. We can bring business back into our country. People can travel and see their loved ones freely. All of this nonsense. People will be getting prosecuted. Any of these actions, it ripples through the world. A positive ruling ripples through. Also, people conceding and letting things go on. These things ripple. Small actions count. So share this information around. Point 7.3 of the resolution obliges all member states to ensure that citizens are informed that V-word vaccines are not the only written in capital letters throughout the resolution mandatory, and that no one is politically, socially or otherwise pressured to be vaccinated. Secondly, at least as important, member states must ensure that no one is discriminated against for not being vaccinated because of possible health risks or because the person simply does not want to be vaccinated. The latter is particularly interesting given the current propaganda of vaccination passports by the system media and several European governments, which they claim is necessary. The Swedish government announced on February 4th that it had decided to introduce the digital vaccine certificate that will be ready by the summer. But what is it then to be used for if it becomes illegal to discriminate against someone who does not have it? According to the Nuremberg Convention, experimental vaccines can be seen as an experiment on the population in the case of the RNA and Pfizer's mRNA jabs. They have never been previously tested. The convention consists of 10 points, and the first stipulates the voluntary consent of a human subject is absolutely necessary. But the question remains, is it really voluntary if you're not allowed to work, send the children to school, travel, or even visit the mall if you do not submit to the experimental vaccines? The fifth point states no experiment should be performed where there is reason to believe that death or disability injury will occur. Countless health and control authorities in several countries stated how they expected this to happen on a fairly large scale. And as we have seen, the propaganda push for this zombie juice vax has never been seen in our lifetimes. The media, the governments, Big Pharma, UN World Health Organization working in lockstep to get the zombies to line up and take this. It is not difficult to understand why, given the unprecedented propaganda for mass vaccination from the Swedish government, or insert New Zealand, insert Australia, insert Canada, insert English government, and not least the system media, which is inflated to levels not previously seen even during wartime. The Great Awakening, it is happening, and we are a part of it. You are watching this content with other freedom platforms, alternative media, truth platforms. We are a part of this defending of our rights and freedoms. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Have courage, speak your truth, support each other, have faith, and have fun. Peace out.